Hello there, this is Andy, aka Rodoc. Just again, sorry for the delay in posting videos, but it's been a bit busy. So first off, I wanted to look at just a couple more recommendations for crime series that I'd seen recently or in the last few months. First one is a series which I've only seen the first season of. There are 3 seasons in total, and this is a crime thriller where things are not quite as they seem, and it's called Absentia. And it's about an FBI agent, Emily, who, while she's searching for a serial killer, vanishes, and everybody assumes she's been caught by the serial killer and killed, and ultimately she is declared dead. Fast forward 6 years, she's found in the woods in a poor state, and obviously has been kept hostage for the last 6 years. However, in the interim, her husband, another FBI agent, has basically moved on, has remarried, and is looking after rearing their son that they had together with his new wife. So as you can imagine, this is an interesting dynamic. She turns up out of the blue after being declared dead. The new wife doesn't know what the hell is going on. Outside that, what happens is there's a series of murders, which she becomes inherently the prime suspect for, because she's at the wrong place at the wrong time consistently, and of course the police then turn on her, and it's a bit of a hunt. Really good series. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's probably 10 or 13 episodes, and it follows this first part of her trying to get back her life, etc. At the same time, trying to figure out who kidnapped her, where she was held. Her husband helps to a certain, her ex-husband helps to a certain degree, and things start to spiral out of control once she becomes a murder suspect in people connected to her own case. Can't recommend it enough. It's a slow burn, but picks up quite quickly, and you think you question obviously her sanity, because obviously she's been kidnapped for 6 years, and it's very difficult to guess, let's say. But it pans out, and like I say, the first season is really good. There are 2 other seasons, and I will get to those at a later stage. And the second recommendation is one which I just come to recently, and I've just finished, and this is the series Clarice, which basically is a direct sequel, if you like, to Silence of the Lambs, and it is set approximately a year after the end of Silence of the Lambs. So anybody who hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs, for God's sake, go and see Silence of the Lambs. Find it online, watch it, whatever. It might be that you missed it because it wasn't around when you were it wasn't around because you're too young. You need to watch it. It is brilliant, basically. It's basically, this follows on from after Clarice Starling, who in this series is played very well by an actress called Rebecca Breeds. She has the mannerism, she has the accent and the vulnerability, the nuances that you see in Jodie Foster's performance in the film. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure how successful this was. I think critically it was acclaimed, but how successful it was with the audience, I don't know, because it came out some years ago. I think it came out in 2021. Unfortunately, there's only one season. It was not picked up, basically because of different studios and what was going on behind the scenes, rather than, I think, how well it was received. But it basically picks up 1 year later. Clarice Starling is now working in VICAP under the FBI umbrella, and she is brought in when they suspect there is a serial killer on the loose, killing women and dumping them in the river. The series takes a few twists and turns. Obviously, Clarice has flashbacks to a time of catching and killing Buffalo Bill. And obviously she's still traumatized by that, to be brutally honest, but she's trying to deal with it the best she can. The only characters that I think reoccur from the feature film are Clarice Starling herself, and then there is Catherine Martin and her mother Ruth Martin. Who Catherine Martin was the girl in the well, in the pit, that Clarice rescues at the end of the film, and obviously she's, as you can imagine, she was kidnapped and held hostage with the intention of being killed. So she's obviously traumatized, and has been for the last year. And her mother has now become the Attorney General and is basically using Clarice as a personal task force whenever things get sticky, let's say. And that obviously rubs up the team that she's working with when she's initially brought in. But what is really great about this series is that all the characters that you see in this team, in the VICAP team, all have a backstory and a history that is apart from their day-to-day job. And you see this in some of the characters and their relationships with their family, their wives, their children, and how it's handled. It starts off quite slow, and then it builds up because of the sort of panic that sets in regarding the serial killer that they think is now stalking women. I won't give anything away, but it's not quite what it seems, and it twists one way, then it twists another way, and at the end, it's quite unexpected where the story goes. You think one character is the villain, then there's another character which is potentially the killer. It's really, really well done, and like I said, the tone of it is very, very similar to the film itself, in a TV format. So I think there's 13 episodes, all of them 45 minutes long. So it's sort of bingeable. I watched it over the last 2 weeks, let's say, and it doesn't disappoint, to be honest. The performance is excellent. There's some very good TV talent there. You've got, like I say, the main character, and then you've got the mother of the last victim of Buffalo Bill and the victim of Buffalo Bill. Also, her boss, Clarice's boss. He has his own issues, let's say, and he taps into those. And like I say, initially there's a reluctance to help Clarice or let her join the team once she demonstrates her skills. they form quite a neat bond, and it's basically an ensemble piece which revolves around this one character, and obviously it's a detachment from the cinematic sequel, where it focuses more on Hannibal Lecter and three starrings involved, let's say. But this is primarily features on Clarice herself. Hannibal Lecter is never mentioned, I don't think, in the story at all. I think he's hinted at some points, but he's not. He's definitely not the focus. The focus here is Clarice, how she dealt with Buffalo Bill, how she ultimately brought him down, and the knock-on effect for her mental health, etc. So she's questioning everything about that incident that day, and also about her past, her childhood, the death of her father. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say it was perfect, but as a direct sequel, I think it works really, really well. So well worth a watch. And like I said, some people might hate it, some people might like it, and I think maybe it had mixed views of basically, for somebody to come in and make a TV series directly to one of the most iconic and popular crime horror films of the 90s is a tough act to follow. And like I said, it works. It worked really well for me. So it's on Prime, as is the first series I recommended, which is Absentia. There are many more good series out there. I just wanted to highlight a couple that I'd seen recently. So if you like any of these, please comment. Please let me know. I'm curious what you thought of Clarice. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What were the reasons? And if you've seen Absentia, let me know as well. I'd be really interested. I'll be posting more videos soon. I promise. Definitely going to do some horror films, which is one of the things I love more than anything else. And so far, I don't think I've done any horror reviews. I think I've done. I did a review for Good Boy, which is good, but which is an interesting one. It's not your normal horror film, rather than horror. I've got a few to watch. I'll watch some, and I will definitely post some. As you can see, I've got a bit of a backlog to catch up with. Until next time, please, if you like this, let me know. If you want more of the same, more of TV, more of films, games, etc., just let me know, and I'll review anything that you want. If I have a copy of it, I'll review it. Okay. Until next time, bye.